put your A, B, and C. Put your A, B, and C. And then put your little a. Yes. Okay. Put your little c and your little b. Just to remember that that's what you're looking for every time. Little a, little b, little c. Little a, little b, and little c. You might have an obtuse angle. Back in geometry days, which one of those angles is obtuse?
Or over 90.
Over 90, which is, there's only one of them up there.
110.
110. 110 is your obtuse. All the rest of them are acute. Acute means less than 90. No 90 degrees, whatever. You're using this formula right here, but you're not going to be using all three at one time. That's too hard to cross multiply. So let's say we're just having the A and the B, and you don't have the C. You would cross multiply those like that. Clearly, you need a calculator, because I think it would be very hard to do that in your head. If impossible, actually, to do that in your head. All right, for the first problem, we need a triangle. Let's draw a triangle. It doesn't really matter what the angles tell us. I usually draw the same angle, same triangle every single time. Yeah, I just don't have a stapler. The stapler, it's yours. It's yours. Oh. Well, that is. I'm going to pass it up. You might want that. Okay, wait a minute. Let me find one. Here you go. Just take another one. It's good. So, do you have number? Yeah, you got it. Okay. Oh, I bet you were confused, huh? Yeah. All right, angle A, angle B, angle C. It doesn't matter where you put A, B, and C. You can put them anywhere. If you do it different from me, it's the same. Okay.
So even if the C or one of them's obtuse, it doesn't matter?
Yeah. I usually draw the same picture every time.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you still put the same angle in there. All right, angle A is 36. Angle B is 48. Little a is 8. Remember, that's across from big A, right? Angle A is 36. I'm going to go ahead and put them over here. Angle B is 48. And little a is 8. Now, I don't care if it's a right angle or a right triangle or not a right triangle. You can still add everything up to 180. So we're still adding up to 180. What is angle C? How much? 107? No, 96. Yeah, you're right. 96. 96 degrees for angle C. In my opinion, it helps to go ahead and put stuff on the picture every time. Anytime you find something, put it there. Now we have to start our formula. We are rounding sides and angles to the nearest tenth, 1 decimal place. So when you start your formula, you're going to do the only side and angle that we have together is this one. Sine 36 over little a, which is 8. Sine big A over little a equals, now at this point you can either do the 48 or the 96. But on a sine problem, law of sines, you've got to do the smaller one first. So if you need to remember sine smaller, always do the smaller angle first. If you don't, you're going to get into a situation where we all get different numbers. So you need to do the smaller one first, and it's going to take care of something called the ambiguous case. Y'all probably don't remember that from last year, and that's okay. We're going to go over it more next week. Just remember to do the smaller one first. So of these two angles, which one should I do? Okay, angle B. So we're going to do sine 48 over, and what's across from sine 48? Little b. You can put x if you want, it doesn't matter. All right, let's cross multiply. B times sine 36 is B sine 36. 8 times sine 48. 8 sine 48. We're going to we're going to solve for B, so we need to divide by sine 36, right? The more you do this, the less you have to write it all out. Some of you can already see it without writing it, and that's okay.
have to do like two different parts in the calculator, or do you put it all in them?
You can put it all in at once. I use the fraction button. Let's see. 8 sine 48 over sine 36. So this is how I do it. You know, we have that fraction button. Do y'all remember how to do that? 8 sine 48 divided by, what was it, sine 36? Was it 36? Oh, 48 and 36, yeah. So 8 sine 48 divided by sine 36 should give you 10.1. Did anybody not get 10.1? Okay. So, divided by 10.1, there's our answer, B. B is 10.1. Little b. So we have one more to find. I sure wish we could do Pythagorean theorem because that would make that problem a whole lot easier, but you can't. That is only for a right triangle problem. So you've got to do this process all over again. It's not a hard process, it's just long. It takes you a while. All right, let's do it again. I'm going to start from the beginning. I'm going to start with the 36 and the 8 again. Sine 36 over 8 equals,
Once you do the first,
yes,
probably the smallest angle, you can use the sign at the end of the bigger.
yes, it's always sine because all of these are going to be sine over sine every time.
What if you did sign 36 or 8, if you did 96 first?
It would give you a different number for B and C. It would be a little off.
No.
You're still using sine, but it would be a little off. But this one, we have to use sine 96 because that's all I have left. Solve for C. If you write that much and then you can do the rest in your calculator, that's fine. Because you probably know from looking at that it's going to be 8 sine 96 divided by sine 36. Let's see. 8 sine 96 divided by sine 36. Did y'all get 13.5? The problem will go a little faster the more you understand how to do it. The first few are not going to be a few minutes. 13.5 for C. And that took a little bit of time, but you got all three of your things that you needed.
We did last year.
You did. You did last year, yes.
Oh, you have to do cosine and tangent here?
There's not a law of tangents. It's just law of sines and law of cosines.
Oh, right. I remember that.
Any questions on the process? All right, let's do number 2. You're going to also find the degree. It's basically when you don't have enough sides to do. All right, and in triangle DEF, the reason this one is a little different is because we're going to have to find an angle this time. Horrible. D, E. Go ahead and draw your DEF triangle. Put 26.3 in angle D. And little d is 7, little e is 6. Now, when you start this problem, you really can't do anything with F. I don't have an angle or a side, right? So there's nothing you can do at the moment with F. We're going to have to use the D and D. We don't really have a choice at this point. All right, so we're going to start our sine cosine process. Sine 26.3 over 7. Equals, what does it equal? What should I put? Sine, sine, I put a little e right here. That should be a 6. Sine E over 6, right? All right, let's cross multiply. 7 divide by 7. Divide by 7. Do that in your calculator, and you're probably going to get something weird, but that's okay. See if you get a decimal. I can't remember the decimal. 0.379. Does that seem odd that angle E would be 0.379? That's not right, is it? Right? Here's why. You haven't done your -1 button. Anytime you don't know your angle, you have to use the inverse every time. So what you would do is now, 6 sine 26.3. Oops, there. 6 sine 26.3 divided by, what was it divided by? 7? Divided by 7, okay. And that's when you get that weird thing. And then do second sine, do the little -1 button. And then second answer. That answer button is right down there above the negative. It's taking the inverse sine of that answer. 22 degrees, 22.3 degrees. If you are finding an angle, you must use the inverse button. 22.3 degrees for angle. All right, let's think. How can I find angle F? 180. You are correct. All of those are going to add up to 180. Even if it's not a right triangle, they still add up to 180. 131.4. Good. 131.4 over here. Now, you cannot do the Pythagorean theorem because it's not a right triangle. So you have to do the sine all over again. Yay, I know. I'm going to come over here and do it. I'm going to start at the beginning. I'm going to start with what I had to begin with. 26.3 over 7. Sine 26.3 over 7. I actually have angle F. It was 131.4. Sine 131.4 over little f. Cross multiply that. You do not have to use the inverse button, the -1, on this problem, because you already know both angles. You only use that when you don't know your angle. See if you can find out. I think it's 11.8, maybe I'll check. 11.8 or 11.10. Did y'all get 11.8 or 9 for this one? 9? 11.9. Cross multiply, just make sure you understand what's going on. Right, you get that? Okay. Oh. Okay. All right. Are there any other number 2 questions?
Alright.
Yeah, it's 11.9.
That way.
Watch this and then I'll put this one. It'll be 7 and it'll be 6. All right, number 3. Now, number 3, I have a typo. So if you tried it, you may be like, what in the world? Angle C is the first one. 103 is angle C. I'll fix all these problems that I have, next year when I have my next class, but it doesn't affect you. ABC. Angle C is 103. Now, there's a little problem in the fact that my angle C doesn't look like it's 103, does it? But it's not going to affect my outcome, so just go with the same picture every time. I know it doesn't look great, but that's okay. That bothers some people. Y'all might not have even noticed. And angle B is 46, and angle C is 61. So 103. Angle B will be 46, and little C 61. Go ahead and write in everything you have as you go. It helps to be less confusing that way. When you start your sign and all that stuff, where should I start? Okay, so I have a 103 and a 61, right? Start with that. Sine 103 over 61. Start with what you got. All right, I normally say always do the smallest angle first, but you only have one angle. So you don't really have a choice here. You have to do angle B, don't you? That's the only option I have. I have nothing for angle A, so I can't do anything with that. But I can find angle B. Sine B over 46. Sine B over 46. Right now, just to remind yourself, if you are looking for the angle B, you are going to have to use the -1 inverse button on your calculator. I'm just going to go ahead and write it there so I can remember that. All right, cross multiply. 61 sine B. Cross multiply 61 sine B equals 46 sine 103. Divide by 1 on both sides. So when you do that, you're going to get some weird decimal. 46 sine 103 divided by 61. You're going to get a weird decimal right here. It just means you haven't done the second button yet. That's all. Don't remember what. Oh, 7,340. Now punch that in and see if you get the same thing I did. 46 sine 103 divided by 61. And then take the inverse of that, and you're going to get angle B. So you do the -1 button now, and you get angle B is, what is angle B? 47.3? Remember that these add up to 180. You can subtract. Can you subtract in your head? Okay, what did you get for angle A? Does that sound right? 29.7? Oh, that was close. 29.7. know it's annoying, but yes, you have to do the whole process over again. I'm going to start at the beginning with what I had to begin with. 103 and 61. Sine 103. I know. Over 61. Angle B is 47.3. Angle A is 29.7. Which angle am I, or excuse me, which side am I looking for? A. So I have to use angle A on top. Sine 29.7 over little a. Notice right here, you already know your angles, which means you're not going to be using the inverse negative 1 button. You're not using that. Not on this particular problem. Cross, multiply. I think you're going to get 31, but y'all check and see. I think you also need more room to write, don't you? I have to remember that as well. Like 31 is going to be red. Anybody else get 31 on that? Okay. Keep going. All of this packet is your homework, but unfortunately, we were working it in first period. I know y'all are going to be super sad about this. Number 7 doesn't work out. I know you're so sad. So y'all can scratch number 7. And then, of course, I'll fix it before the next group comes in. Yeah, you need to at the very beginning decide what you make sure you do.